Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video specifically about gay friendships. This is kind of a tough one because I really try with this channel not to go like the dark route, the negative route consistently, but I also feel like we have a lot of issues in our community and I want to touch on them as a catharsis. Like, as you may have noticed, part of me wanting to create this channel was to express things that I feel and I guess sort of gauge whether other people feel that way too. And solidarity helps, and relatability, and finding that people are experiencing the same exact things. And some of you guys have mentioned to me before having similar experiences. So I thought it was important to make this video, and I'm very curious, as always, if you have experienced the same thing. But personally, I've always found it really hard to make gay friends. And I wish it wasn't that way, but that's just the experience that I've had. I think it's also complicated when the people you want to build a community with are also the people you're attracted to. And for me personally, this has never been an issue, but on the other end it has, where I befriended someone who I really liked, but didn't realize they liked me a little bit more than just a casual friendship. And then I'm very protective of myself, so I get very like defensive if I feel that someone's really just trying to get to know me because they want to sleep with me or they have an ulterior motive. It's not the worst thing in the world for someone to have a crush on you, but it's uncomfortable when, for me, it's uncomfortable when I have zero attraction to someone physically or sexually or romantically or whatever, and I realize that that's what they're seeking secretly, or maybe not so secretly, with me. So I've had a lot of friendships end because of that, since once I would explain that I wasn't looking for that, their ego or their insecurity would come into play and they just didn't want to maintain a friendship. That's one experience that I've had, but another thing that I've come across more often than you would think or you would hope is that gay friend who just can't be happy for you. Like, you just got the job that you wanted or that maybe they wanted, or you know, they don't like the way you dress, they don't like the way you talk about X, Y, and Z, and they feel the need to point it out. And I quickly catch on to that when a friend is like that, and I can never maintain a friendship with someone like that because I don't want to have petty people around me. I don't want to have bitchy people. I don't want to have friends around me who they're just keeping it real. There's a difference between being honest to your friend and being destructive, like chipping away at their self-esteem. And for whatever reason, I've often run into gay guys who have that in them. Like they kind of want to bring you down with them. They say misery loves company. And I think that that's true. And I see it with a lot of gay guys, and I refuse to be around it. I don't want to be around that kind of personality type. And I'm a very loyal friend, but I'm also not just going to stick by somebody's side regardless of how they treat me or how I see them treating others. So, the Peter Pan syndrome is something that's talked about a lot with gay guys, which is basically the idea that, it's the guy who never grew up. So now he's an adult behaving as a child. I think there's a lot of reasons that happens with gay guys. I think a lot of us don't have regular childhoods, and when you couple that with shame and complexes and stuff, it's easy to be a man-child as you grow up. So it's funny because I have my own demons like anybody else, but I feel like generally speaking I'm a very level-headed person and like sane and normal. And it sucks because when you keep having that experience of you meet guys who you become friends with, and oftentimes I've noticed you become close very quickly, and afterwards you realize that you don't really like the way they treat you or that they treat people around you. It's really disheartening, but it's also a little disturbing because when it keeps happening, you're like, am I the crazy one or is everybody else crazy? And despite that sort of anxiety, I guess, that's induced, eventually I always come back to my senses and I realize this is just not the kind of person I'm meant to be around. And I wish it wasn't this way. It's bad enough with gay dating, as you've seen from my videos. But I've always, it's ironic really, because I've always hoped for that kind of community of gay men and that kind of bond, because only we really know what we go through, the good and the bad. And yet it's always been really difficult to find loyal, level-headed gay friends who don't feel like they're in competition with you or who secretly end up having feelings. I actually think subconsciously part of my reason for wanting to make this channel was to find that kind of community in some way, even though most of you guys who watch me, we're not like texting and stuff, but we interact on Instagram, we interact in the comment sections, you guys give me your feedback always, and it's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling to feel like, even if it's like a digital community, it's our own little niche universe. And so I'm really grateful for that, and I appreciate it. As always, curious to see what your feelings are on this topic.